came out, how you as president would plan to address the issues that were brought up in that report.
Yeah, well, it was an interesting report, and I certainly am not showing because I think the methodology, from what I know, was sound, and I think it clearly articulated what the challenges are in recruiting students to Truman. I think it did a good job of doing that. And I suppose this wasn't the purpose of the report, so I'm not blaming the consultants on it. It was fairly thin, though, on solutions. It was good at articulating the problems, and I think my guess is a lot of students currently here and faculty and other people could have probably identified many of those same problems without that study. The study, I think, certainly put a little science and data behind what a lot of people suspect to be the case in terms of recruiting students to Kirksville. The first thing, what I felt when I got here, I'll tell you, and I'm not saying it was a product of that report, because I don't think it is, but what I felt is that there was a lot of focus on what we didn't have. First of all, what I've learned in all of my work in life is that you're going to be more successful if you can focus on the things you can control. And one thing we can't do, for example, is move Truman State University and Kirksville within 50 miles of St. Louis and Kansas City. We can't do that. So why spend a lot of time wringing our hands about, oh boy, wouldn't it be better if we were closer to a metropolitan area? We aren't, we're not going to be. Okay, so let's move on. And let's think about what we can control in terms of improving our recruitment of students. What do we offer that other institutions, maybe even closer to those metropolitan areas, don't offer? And I think that's what I would prefer to focus on, is what distinguishes us and how, because of our location, it is actually a strength. That actually the rural isolation, if you want to call it that, can contribute very positively to the learning environment. Can create almost a kind of laboratory where I think students do have sort of the freedom removed from the malls of the world and all of the other things, where they can create their own existence, their own reality, take the initiative on things, and create a sense of community. In fact, from what I understand, in talking to President McLean, that was one of the advantages of Northeast Missouri State, and why the state decided, among other reasons, to designate it as the State Liberal Arts and Science University, because in part, its location. It was a wonderful place to have a residential campus and a residential life where students would spend most of their time working together on campus, both socially and academically. And if you plopped us in the middle of St. Louis or Kansas City, you would lose that. It would be hard to maintain and preserve that quality and that part of the culture. And so that, to me, I think, is what I would focus on. And I think that the more we focus on all the things that we bring to the table, because we have a lot of assets. That doesn't mean we don't have challenges, and we shouldn't be aware of those challenges. We shouldn't address those challenges. But we have so much more going for ourselves than we have working against ourselves that we need to remind ourselves.